Babes, happy Friday. Another chapter that gives us more questions than answers, debatably. Honestly, in my second read of it, I think it actually does give a solid amount of answers. Um, for what we're going to see for the future, not only just this arc, but in One Piece in general. At the same time, low-key, there was a little bit of cringe for me on this chapter. I just witchcraft, magic, hocus pocus. I could take or leave. Especially when it comes to One Piece. But I'll give it some breath. I'll trust in Oda. But just a glimpse of like a little bit like cringy. Just a glimpse. I'm not fully convinced yet, like I said, but a really tremendous chapter. I am confused why at the beginning that one giant gets hurt by Gabon's kid Colon. It seems like the thorns are no longer active, but it almost seems like he got hurt by that. And then there's like these weird symbols, and I'm like, are these kids like absorbed in these symbols that make it so that they can't be touched? Is that part of Emu oozing off in a manner that nobody can really contain? He also has a burst. I'm saying he because Emu is taking over Gunko's body. But I think every action that we're seeing now is Emu's. Emu is merely using Gunko as a host. It's a host body. Gunko is in no control. These aren't her powers. She is merely a husk. And I think that her contract specifically makes her a host. Why? I don't know. Is there going to be others? Probably. Just because I think we're going to see a lot more of Emu now than just the final confrontation. But I don't think the final confrontation, once they see him in person, then it's going to be for real. But until then, he's going to hide behind his husks. He's going to hide behind other people. We see summoning. It looks like he's able to pull out a bunch of weapons and anything that he kind of wants at the drop of a hat. Why that is a bigger question, but let's just focus on what is. And it's the fact that he's able to pull those out. He questions the Dream Man, and he's like, no, they're still pouring out. Like, we're still chilling on that front. As we thought, I mean, Summers is getting up. He's totally fine. He's asking them to capture these guys. And at the end of the day, I really don't feel like they have what it takes in order to take him on. Robin needs to go demon mode, and Jinbei needs to do something. Brook, maybe, but he's wrapped up as hell. But Robin's not saying that they're done, that they do need to fight with everything that they have, because if they become hostages, this whole situation is going to get a lot worse a lot quicker. So that's going to kind of be one of our matchups there, I think, between all those people, which we can finally start to see some strength and see what could happen. And it looks like Summers is still recovering from injury, but he is going to start to usher those guys. We get Dory and Bragi charging in to fight Emu, and it looks like some damage is about to be taken, but then before we can even realize it, they fall right into Emu's hands. And I brought it up several times, but it seemed like the scales were tipped heavily into the good guy's side. Just with only those amount of people there, having Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, Loki, who now has to be a good guy. I think his matchups are just about set. There was too much on that side to deal with. And now flipping two of the strongest people on the good side to the bad side makes this a lot more interesting. Let alone the Emu is there. Not himself, but in a host body doing what he is able to do. So, in order to get Bragi and Dory to his side, he does somewhat of a summoning of a sword and a gun. And now the sword plunges into Emu's and I believe takes out some of his dark blood or some of, I guess, his host. But the host already has a piece of Emu in there, so that is his blood essence. And then that gets stored into the gun, and the gun is shot, distorting and destroying. And if you look at how it was destroyed, Bragi's wrist and hand is what I'm talking about. Very similar to what you see when Garcia was regenerating. So that's kind of what we're seeing there. More magic takes place. The magic, dude. They do the demonic contract, which we had already assumed that all these guys had like some connection to Emu, and it's just that they have a contract, and this contract allows them to have this crazy regeneration ability, has them able to use powers that maybe they would not normally. But all in all, it gives them the ungodly power that he was talking about. And if you look at Dami Reversi, the Black Dominion reversion, it looks like this is a totally different version of Bragi. So one of the biggest questions from this chapter, I'm like, how many of these people that are under his control are doing it willingly? Even just like, I mean, we could almost assume that a lot of the Celestials are doing this. Like they were like, I'll do it. Like I'll be someone that signs the contract on behalf of my family. But I can't imagine all of them being willing. I cannot imagine all of them being willing. So some of these people are not willing, but it takes away, let me read this specifically. It takes away, it's really important what he says. Let's see. Thou shalt cast aside the lifespan for a body unyielding to death. So immortality just about. Under Mu's dominion, thou shalt be granted unprecedented strength. No longer shalt thou be bound by reason nor by common sense. So this is somebody basically acting on their first thought, their first instinct, which obviously as a human, I think we know that that's not always the best. And it's the thought and like slowing down and really dissecting it that makes people not make a lot of decisions that would turn out bad. Also, this Bragi looks a lot bigger, a lot larger of a human being. His axe is different. He has wings and fangs now. It's a totally different Bragi. I don't think that the main body is even there. These other ones could be in some type of prison or beneath the surface, I think is what we're seeing here, because this makes me think of Garcia saying, I don't remember the last time I was on the surface. And then his summoning is him switching. So as the Goros say, normally in their normal bodies, and that's kind of the agreement, is they still get some of like the human factor, but they also have a contract that allows them to flip into their demonic counterpart. I think that's what we're looking at here. But it's interesting to see, and considering it seems like Emu can do whatever the fuck they want with this whole contract situation, it's really tough to tell. It's really tough to tell. But those are my thoughts so far. Are people doing it willingly? There's probably two sides to each of these coins. How do we get those back? How is Gabon? And I think Gabon's thing is going to be huge, and kind of the tipping point of this arc is how was he able to hurt Summers, if even for a time? What was it that allowed him to do that? I think it's hockey. On what degree? I don't know. I mean, can we even go further in armament at this point? I don't think so. But it looks like he does have conquerors. So there's a lot there. There's a lot there. How does hockey transfer? If he gets somebody with King's Conquerors and flips them and gives them the contract, is that still reversed version of them? Have King? I don't know. There's so much here. We could talk about it forever. But he makes contracts with a bunch of different giants, and then it's their job to go and kill the king, Jarul. And Jarul's like, bring it on, which I think really reminds me of my boy, what's his name? I'd win. What's his name? Why am I forgetting his name? JJK, Jujutsu Kaisen, fucking... Why? That is so sad that I can't remember his name. He's like the best character from the show. Anyway, Ja Rule is not going to do a damn thing. I mean, we could maybe see some type of a showing from him, but very, very doubtful. Why can't I remember his name? That's going to make me lose it. But the important part is the good guys are going to finally be on the move here. Luffy, Loki, especially little L and L are going to be doing some very impactful and important things. I'm interested to see how Gear 5 or Joy Boy is able to interact with these demons, is able to interact with the power, that the magic that is Emu, that everything that they can do. But yeah, now we just gotta wait and see. No break though, which is excellent, and yeah, that's all I have to say. I'm hoping the name comes to me, but it's just not. Itadori, Gumi, Gojo. Jeez, I was like, it's with the G. Anyway, I'd win. I'd win is Ja Rule and Gojo. Somebody make the meme, but that's all I got. I'll catch you guys next week. See you.